Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Got the whole rain thing going on today. Anyway, so it's about a quarter to noon, 11, 28, 15, 51 degrees on that. No, it's raining, my battery's not all charged. So, about 10.2 degrees Celsius, 68% humidity. Welcome to Saturday. What am I up to today? I've noticed that when I push it, like when I put that tent up, that I find that I'm a little bit tired the next day. And given that it's raining out, I figured I'd get some other stuff done. And one of the things I'm trying to do is get the Hoard to be a little bit more energy efficient. So what I did was I went out and I bought some. Come on, are you going to focus? You're just going to play with me. Here you go. 4 pieces, 4 foot, 18 watt T18 LED warm light. These guys here. So you get 4 of them. They cost about $60. Free shipping. Homie likes that kind. Free shipping. So I was driving down the road, and this was several weeks ago. I picked up these fixtures. Let me show you the edge of them. Right, so I picked up these fluorescent fixtures. Somebody was throwing them away for free. Right, so they didn't cost me anything. And what I did was I took off, well, let's start at the beginning. First thing I did was I put fluorescent tubes in this one and fired it up to see how much power it would use. And it was using about 42 watts. And then what I did is I upgraded it so that I can run it on these LEDs, right? And it uses, 40 watts, 39 watts. So if you figure it went from 42 watts down to 40 watts, that's about a 5% savings in electricity. I mean, it's not like really gonna, move the needle huge, right? If it's the kind of light you have on that's like on 24 hours a day or 12 hours a day, my kitchen light is typically on 12 to 14 hours a day. It can lead to some savings, especially if there are 4 tubes. If you're using 4 of them in your kitchen, then you're saving a little more power. How does one do the upgrade? Let's pretend this was a fluorescent light. I mean, you just give it a little twist, take it out. There's this metal cover on it, right? You want to take it out. In my case here, it's got, see how it's kind of got that little clip that you pop it over. There was this ballast in here, right? These were the wires that you were putting 110 into the ballast. Well, obviously you want to make sure there's no power on them, but forget about those. These are the wires coming out of the ballast. Obviously the red wire ran to this side. The 2 blue ones, ran to that side. So you cut those wires. I cut them as close to the ballast as possible because I do not plan on reusing this ballast. This ballast from here is going into probably the recyclables. By the way, made in Mexico. Wait, where are we? There we go. Assembled in Mexico. So yeah, this is just going to go into my metal waste. So once you have 2 wires from this side 2 wires from this side, or 1 wire from this side, and you know, you kind of have to make sure you get each one, eh? So you just put 110 volts across it, and obviously when you plug it in, it takes right off. So basically, in the simplest form, all you want to do is get rid of the ballast, make one side neutral, the other side give it 110, and the light comes on. That difficult. You're looking at about $30 to take one of these things and upgrade it, right? 15 bucks per bulb. I showed you that on this piece of paper, right? You get 4 of them, 4 pieces, 60 bucks. You do the math. So 15 bucks a light bulb. Home Depot, last time I looked, I don't know if they were selling this fixture with the bulbs in it for 50 bucks, or was it 100? I don't recall if it was $49.95 or $99.95. You guys who frequent Home Depot more than I do would remember. But if you have a fixture floating around, why not just upgrade it and put it back into use? You need, once again, just 110 from here, neutral on that side, and in this case, there you are, right? And because they don't have the wires joined here like they do here, see how this red wire goes across, so you only need one. In this case, they're individual. I'm not quite sure why they did that. Must be a ballast thing. So I just put them together here, and there we are. So very, very simple to take your standard 4-foot fluorescent fixture and upgrade it so that there's LED lights in it. I went with the warm white. Typically they're a little more expensive. Some people prefer the bright, they call it bright white or sunlight. I prefer the warm. It just, I feel more comfortable working in the warm. It's got a little more yellow in it, I guess, than the bright light is just white. It's like white on rice, white. The warm white is has a little saffron in it, you know. It's got a little more yellow in it. It just happens to agree with me a little better. Just quickly, well, I have you guys on video. I walked around in here. There doesn't appear to be any leaks, right? The shelves are dry. I'm not seeing any puddles anywhere, so I'm happy about that. And in the tent, we can take a quick walk in there too. It's nice and dry, except obviously where I didn't put a pipe through the tarp or close the zipper, so it's blowing back and forth. But it's staying, right, just a little rain blew in there. Probably a little bit on this side where it's not. But it's not leaking. You can hear the rain hitting it. It's actually, if I had to work in here, it's going to be the same temperature as outside. I guess one could perhaps staple that onto the wood, or something to kind of seal the bottom. One could attempt to put a propane heater in here or something. But do remember, if you seal this up really well, this canvas doesn't breathe and you might just gas yourself. So if you're going to use something that consumes oxygen while not pulling air in, like if you use a wood stove, at least the wood stove draws air and you know, burns the wood, consumes the oxygen out of the air, but because you have a chimney drafting, you're pulling more fresh air in. With a propane heater, you wouldn't be doing that. You would just be consuming the oxygen in the room, and unless there's a breeze or you open the flap or something like that, the oxygen in this place, especially once again if you seal it all around the bottom, there would be no new air coming in, no fresh oxygen coming in. So at some point you would probably find yourself feeling sick, and then if you depending on how successfully you seal it, you could find yourself cashing out. So try not to do that. That's not good for you. And people will think you're dumb because it's not a smart way to go. So there we are. I'm going to get back to normal projects. I obviously have to load these buildings, but other than that, I really want to get back to normal projects. A while ago, Musty One actually suggested that I put up one or two of these instead of all the small buildings, but being Mr. Cheap, I started with the cattle panels and the small buildings. I must say that that was not smart. It really wasn't smart. These higher buildings are much better, much airier, much easier to get stuff in and out of, more practical. I'm getting quite a bit of light in here. Hopefully this tarp, this covering will last for a few years. God knows how long it will, but I'm hoping I get a few miles out of it. Though it wouldn't really take much, quite honestly. The outer piece is just stretched over from one end to the other, so I can actually do that with the tarp and then attach it on the bottom with some plastic molding should this tarp go bad. Obviously I wouldn't have this pipe thing going on, but you can't win them all, can you? And then obviously you just seal the ends, perhaps 2x4 them up and put sheathing over them. But this 12x12, I think just from a storage point of view, I'll make so much better use of it and be able to get things in and out of it much easier than some of those cattle panel tunnels I built. If you get the bigger ones, the 20x24, you are getting into a little bit more money, obviously. This thing, I think it was somewhere around, I got it cheap, that's why I bought it. I think it was around a couple $100, maybe $250, and this is a 12x12. Alright folks, I've been talking for about 12 minutes now. I really want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and even if it's raining, get outside and do a project. Okay folks, bye now.